So if you don't know me, let me tell you about myself. My name is Amy Jaramillo. I'm a pelvic therapist and an occupational therapist. I guess that automatically makes me a pelvic occupational therapist. So this is how my story starts, my journey into pelvic rehabilitation and therapy, and pre- and postnatal fitness and postpartum recovery and healing. About a year and a half ago. So I'm an occupational therapist. I also work in a hospital. I work in trying to help these people rehabilitate or remediate a skill or adapt to a new situation in their life, whether it's a disability that's chronic or progressive, or something that's acute, something that's new, and they can recover from. That's the setting I work in. And specifically activities of daily living. We, as occupational therapists, want to see people as independent as possible, right? That's kind of the culture we live in, but we also have to be culturally sensitive. Of course, if someone tells us that their spouse puts their socks on for them all the time, we're not going to force them to figure out a way to get their socks on if they don't want to. So that's just a great example of something we do in the hospital setting. What I do with pelvic therapy outside of the hospital setting, this is something I have made a career, a path switch, and I'm choosing to focus a lot of my energy and time studying pelvic therapy and pelvic rehabilitation. And how that happened, about a year and a half ago, I was sitting on the couch at home chatting with my husband, and we were just talking about having kids, and I really want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to homeschool. I want to have a lot of kids, but I also want to still contribute financially somehow. I want it all, guys. I want it all. Right? Dream big, and my dreams are very big. So hi guys, thank you for joining me. So I was talking to him about all of this, having kids, what would I do? Oh my gosh, how would it be? A lot of the things that came up were fears and anxieties about getting pregnant, being pregnant, recovering. So that's how this really began. That conversation was, how am I going to recover? Like, I want to have all these babies, but how am I going to get back to life and get back to doing the things that I love doing and being active and going to the gym and paddle boarding and going on my bike rides and hikes on the mountains and camping and all of the above, things that I love. And then as I was looking into that, I started doing some research, because I was like, man, this is kind of in my realm with exercise and fitness. I wanted to figure out, how can I still safely exercise while I'm pregnant? And then, of course, I ran into all this postpartum stuff. All of a sudden, it just like opened doors to something completely new for me. And I started reading about something called pelvic floor rehabilitation. What in the world is that? Wait a minute. I've heard of pelvic floor muscles in school. We skipped over it in the book when we were learning manual muscle testing. They just told us, you don't have to learn this, you can skip it. It's only if you specialize. Like, what? Skipping over the best thing, right? As occupational therapists, one of the tools we use is manual muscle testing, where we use our hands and we perform a little test on your muscles with our hands, and we use our subjectivity to scale your muscle. So we test you in different positions to test different muscles. That's what we were studying in school, and we skipped over pelvic floor. So I'm sitting on my couch reading about pelvic floor rehabilitation, and I remember, hey, this is right in my realm. So I started looking into it, and I saw pelvic physical therapists, right? You see that all the time, pelvic PT, physical therapists. But in all actuality, I learned that occupational therapists can work in the field too. So it's newer with occupational therapists, but it's very much needed because we are more sensitive in other areas. We work with this vulnerable population, these people, every single day. We have a different lens when we look at people, and when we work with people, we have a completely different lens than physical therapists. And one thing that I love about occupational therapists is that we look at the whole person. We look at the biopsychosocial, environmental, spiritual, everything. The institutions you're a part of, the communities, your habits, roles, routines, rituals, all of the above. We look at everything, your entire life. We are great with working with people who experience pelvic floor dysfunction and helping women especially navigate this area. So about 1.5 years ago, I'm sitting on my couch studying this stuff online, discovering all this stuff, and realizing and learning how underserved women are in this area. We're so focused on prenatal, all these prenatal checkups, and then afterwards you have the baby wellness checkups, but nothing for the mom. Or 6 weeks once? Postpartum 6 weeks so they can clear you? Really? Why didn't you talk to her about pelvic therapy right after the baby was born or the day before? Why doesn't every woman receive pelvic therapy postpartum? That's strange. I found it strange. I still find it strange. I feel like it's this huge secret and it's just not talked about. And I want to raise awareness to this area. I want more people talking about it. I want more women knowing about it. That's what I teach. This is what I teach in my program, Revive. How to get connected to your pelvic floor. It's like a complex puzzle. So let me tell you about the pelvic floor.